As I stand up here and I look at your faces, oh my God, pure beauty and brilliance. You are amazing, beautiful emanations of spirit. And I feel so blessed and lucky to be able to stand up here and share with you today. I always like to encourage you to look around, and I know we did that already, but do just quietly look around at the face of love, the face of God that has showed up today. And as you do so, breathe in and just feel what it feels like to be here, to be present. Because something in your heart today, something in your heart desired that you be right where you are in this moment. Now, it's easy to say, yeah, that's true when you're coming here, right? But it is actually true in each and every moment that we are the creators of our experience. And it is the desire of our heart, the pure, true desire of our hearts, that actually lead the way. If you think of the word desire as being synonymous with love, therefore it is love that points the way. It is love in the mind of God, in the mind of source, of all that is, that had a divine idea of love that is each of us. Breathe that in. Because it means that our nature and the truth of who and what we are is love, incarnate, endowed with the same creative ability as the Creator itself to create. And I love that we opened with the imagination, pure imagination. Such a beautiful song, and the marrying of the idea of imagination with desire. Okay? Imagination as a faculty, as a power, and in unity it's actually considered one of the 12 powers. And that when we cultivate the mastery, not control, the mastery of imagination married with desire, we create worlds. And in this pure imagination and the pure desire of love, coupled together, what does the song say? The song says, want to change the world? There's nothing to it. That's the power that we're speaking of here today. That you can be free if. You can be free if what? If you truly want to be. You can be free if you truly desire to be. You can be free if you truly would love to be. That's the power that we are speaking of today. Who can make a sunrise? Hello? Who can make a sunrise and a sunset? But the Christed nature of the all that is. The creation abides in each of us. Imagination as a power, according to Charles Fillmore, is that it's an image, it's a representation of anything not present to the senses. It is our imagination. If you've heard the little saying, change your thinking, change your life, right? Quintessential New Thought meme, if you will. We think in images, my friends, do we not? Tree. You have all pictured a tree in your mind, or you looked out the window and you saw a tree. We think in images. How we image is powerful. And everything in our teaching, everything proceeds from the invisible to the visible, from the formless to form. And it begins with an image in mind. We have the power, therefore, to shape-shift our experiences. We have the power to shift the shape of form. Nod with me. Nod with me. It's an outer demonstration of an inner agreement that when you're saying yes, you might not feel bold enough to say it or to claim it yet, but you can just silently nod with me. Yes, that is the power that our teaching has been teaching, right? That pre-exists our teaching. Because what it is an eternal truth, and truths are discovered. They're eternal. They always have been and always will be. And we're rediscovering the truth of the power that we have. So our desires, so the whole importance of marrying image and imagination with our desires is because when the desires of our heart rise up, you can feel it. It's something that has whispered in your ear, tugged at your heart, that maybe you've tried to ignore, but it almost haunts you. It tells you, it points the way that is for you. Tree. Did you think of a tree again? Did an image of a tree come to mind? Everybody had a different image of a tree. Our desires of our heart vary. And to change the world, we transform within ourselves and we follow the thread of desire, which is the thread of love, to the deepest desire of the heart, to the truest desire that carries us to the heart and mind of Creator and harnesses the power of the all that is. And when we breathe that in, then we allow it to extend and express as our lives. You need do nothing. It is a practice of joining and having the courage to court the desire of your heart until you get to the depth of the truest desire and you follow that. And you follow that. The very cool thing about imagination and desire is this. Most of us are afraid of the desires of our heart. Anybody? Who am I to do that? I'm not good enough. I don't have the education for that. Who's going to let me do what I want to do? So there's a fear. And what we're practicing together is to have the courage to just play with it. Play with the idea, the image. And you can do that without doing anything out in the world. We do it all the time with our worries. Do we not? Hey, that's a form of imagination too. We've cultivated, many of us, the mastery of imagination of our fears through our worry, right? What will happen? Can you not just as easily change your mind and shift that mastery into something that might be a little bit more enjoyable? course we can. Of course we can. But an example that I have for you is we can use imagination, and whether it is a desire that is coming forth as a fear, when we're focused on something, we can take it to its logical conclusion all in our mind. So a couple of years ago, I was getting regular blood work, which I do every year, and this doctor said, "Oh my gosh, your blood count is off." And I remember thinking, "Oh, well, I feel fine, what does it mean?" And they were alarmed. And so they sent me now, this is trippy. They sent me to a hematology oncologist. I'm like, oh, wow, this could be serious. And as I walked through the steps I was being invited to walk through to discover what this is, my mind went into all kinds of imaginations of fear and worry. And the whole process was me having this opportunity to utilize the mind and imagination to a conclusion that was frightening to me. What ifs? What ifs? The beauty of it when you're the observer of the mind is that you can look at the what ifs and you can explore what your belief system is. And when I became really clear in my belief system that no matter what, I was okay, no matter what, I was okay, suddenly everything shifted. I could imagine the outcome without having to go there. I went there in my mind. And so I share that with you because likewise, when we have a desire of the heart that might frighten us, within the safety of our own consciousness, our own home, we can play out the eventuality of anything. And then we can decide, do we want to go there? Another example. Tony and I thought it would be fun to pretend to play expat and to explore another country with the idea and the possibility that we might live there. And we went on this trip fully trying it on like a pair of pants, we're trying it on. And we went there and we met with people and we looked at different opportunities and we traveled throughout the whole country in Central America. It was so much fun. And then actually, Tony had to call me down from a mountain because I was ready to invest in this mountain property where we were going to have a retreat where you could see, like, on three sides, the ocean, and it was the ocean, not the Gulf. And it was like, hey, babe, really, I don't know. And so anyway, we got to try it on. We get home, and we're in the safety of our own home, back on our porch. It's like, yeah, that was fun, but nah, we're not going to do it. That's what I'm talking about. We are literally at play in the kingdom of heaven. Yeah. Who wants to play? Okay, nod. Don't have to say yes, but you could nod. I'm ready to play. Let's be at play in the kingdom of heaven. So as we review what desire is, so we're talking about desire as the first of 4 keys to the kingdom. The first of 4 keys, and desire is the very first one. Nothing happens without desire. Desire is creation itself. Charles Fillmore would say it this way: it is an expression of the inmost being, the onward impulse of an ever-evolving person. It springs from deep within the being, and it has an enduring power, and it is absolutely essential to your spiritual growth. We are all here to grow spiritually, and so together we're going to court the desires of our heart. He further says that the urge, it's ever urging us to forsake earthly things and to desire that which is from heaven. So once we get past the desires of form and we keep courting the desire of our heart, it takes us deeper and deeper to our true desire, which is always a quality of God. I'll give you an example in a bit. Ernest Holmes talks about desire, that the legitimate desire is the voice of spirit. And it's trying to indicate to you, it's trying to whisper in your ear that the thing that you desire is already given. Have you ever heard that before? That all is already given? Everything's already given. There is an infinite field of possibilities that is like a wave. And we have the power to pluck from that infinite field the desire of our heart and to bring it forth, to partake of it, that it may come through our imagination. And as we continue to court it, it extends and expresses into form. Nothing that you see here everything that you see here started as an idea, an image. The chair that you sit on is loving you and supporting you, was a divine idea in somebody's mind to bring us comfort. It's not about the chair, it's about how it loves us, how it gives to us the support and demonstrates the support that we require, that we desire. And so desire, the reading talked about the rose, and that the desire of our hearts is what allows the rose to blossom and the petals to open up. And it's like, part of the rose is the stem. And the elixir of life is that which animates the rose. And that elixir of life must rise up through the depth of being, through the stem, in order to nourish the rose. But we're all walking around constricting, strangling the stem, and then wondering which delivers the elixir of life through the desires of our heart, and we constrict it, and then we wonder why the rose doesn't bloom, or that it dies, or why this didn't happen, or why that didn't happen, or why they don't love me, or why I didn't get this in my life. And it's because we've constricted the elixir of our life, the energy of desire and love. It's the creator of everything. Have you ever thought, I love this quote. Where is it? Have you ever had the feeling that you are putting more energy into staying constricted than you are into allowing expansion? Are you putting more energy into staying small, keeping safe, because you don't want to be noticed, or you do, but you don't, but you do, but you don't, right? Because we're a little crazy sometimes. We have conflicted desires within us, and we don't take the time to separate the wheat from the chaff, that which is a true desire from that which is not, and we get all discombobulated, so we might as well just shove it all down and restrict ourselves. Take a breath with me, because that was exhausting. Don't you just want to breathe and be who you are? and be who you are, who you came here to be, which was grand and glorious and magnificent. Take that breath like it's the breath of your life, the elixir of your life. And let us, nod with me, let us now decide in this moment that we will put more energy into being expanded, into expanding our lives than we will in constricting. Whoa, man, it just feels like everything just shifted. Everything just shifted. We made a decision. I want to speak just a touch about trusting our desires. I want to cop to the fact that we've been conditioned not to do this. Okay? It's not our fault. We were conditioned to constrict and to be small in this experience by people who meant really well. But we didn't know better. We thought we needed to play small to be safe. And there was a time in the evolution of human consciousness where that was true. There was a time in the evolution of human consciousness where I would be stoned for saying what I'm saying and standing where I am as who I am. And what is true of me is also true of you. There was a time in our human evolution where things were different, were frightening, and you would lose this life, not all life, but this life, this body of the name of Claudia would have been murdered, killed, crucified if we were expressing the true desires of our heart. And so let's acknowledge that that's kind of in our DNA. That's kind of in our race consciousness, which is the consciousness of humanity. But remember who we are. And remember that it is a new day, it is a new season, and what was true is no longer true anymore. And that we can rise and be who we came here to be. That even the contradictions within religious indoctrination would say, oh, we might be following the thread of desire and think, oh my God, I want to be wealthy. I want to be rich, And then you go to church and they say, money is the root of all evil. And you think, oh, okay, well, I'm just going to suppress that desire. But then at the same time, they're saying, oh, and by the way, we could use funding for the backpack project. So please give us your money. I mean, there's a lot of contradiction in what we've been taught and told. But money is not the root of all evil. And if the desire to be wealthy is there, follow that thread. Because I guarantee you, beneath the conditioning, and the conditioning would say, well, I want to be like that person, and that person, has it all because they are wealthy. They have a lot of gold coins in their Bitcoin account or whatever, and and look at them. No. There's a desire. If that's a desire of your heart, use your imagination to follow that thread and to continue to ask, but what is it that I truly want? And I guarantee that you get to a point where it's like I would want all of those gold coins so that I can serve the world. So that I may be a conduit through which my wealth blesses others. That's what we're talking about here. There's more than what the surface level is going to tell us. And so our work this week, our work play this week is wonderful. I mean, how fun. The minister up there, she said, I'm just going to follow a thread of desire. I am going to start asking, what would I love? What do I want? And to be the observer of our experience, of what comes up for us. to notice. And here's the trick, not to judge it. Don't judge it. We've suppressed this so much. It might feel like as you kind of let the cat out of the bag, or wild horses out of the gate going in a million different directions, right? And I won't be able to handle it. But it's okay. Remember? You don't have to act on everything, right? Like on the surface, you really might not want to. You might want to wait until you court that thread of desire, till you get to the true desire of your heart, right? So the first thing that I want us to do is to learn to interrupt the patterns that we have learned from the illusory world, from our conditioning, so that we can release the judgment of the energy of desire. So the assignment, if you will accept it, and I think I'm going to go up and smoke in a minute, right? This is our mission, and we'll have to work on doing something like that. This is the mission, if you are willing to accept it, to begin to court the thread of desire. So when you wake up in the morning, here's the first thing I'm going to ask you to do. However it is you wake up, like the book, the Way of Mastery actually says, you plant your feet on the floor and you're sitting in your bed. Well, my feet don't touch the floor. So you've got to adjust it on how it works for you. So, okay? So you're going to rise in the morning like, oh, I'm awake. And you're just going to say, what do I want? What do I truly want? And you're going to take a breath. And you're going to notice that when you ask yourself a question, something responds. I wonder who was that? Who was that? There is a knower within you. And something will respond and you'll be like, no, it might be I want to go back to sleep. It might be I want to, take a really long shower. It might be I want to run outside and say hello world, or do something crazy. Or I might want to snuggle with my partner. And you're going to want to judge it. No, I don't have time for that. I have to get to work. Or maybe you're going to judge it and say, no, that would not be appropriate. Like sometimes something that you might judge as inappropriate might come up, right? I just want you to go with it, though, in your mind. Just think of it and observe. And then remember the thought that we begin our day with. Colors our day. So you might want to begin to say, I want a peaceful day. I want to feel happiness today. And then go about your day. That's the first assignment. The second one is kind of expanding on that. So when I was a kid, during the summertime, I lived in Ohio, and during the summertime, Mom would load us up in the car, and it was really early. I mean, like 8 or 8:30. And she'd take us to the pool, and she'd open the doors, and in those days, we all just ran off, and we went to the pool. But we were going to swim team, and I was required to be on the swim team. And our swim coach was Buzz. And Buzz had back then, this is crazy, he would be arrested today, but he had a paddle, like a wood paddle, and we had to dive into the water and swim laps. And I remember I'm a good swimmer, but it wasn't my heart's desire. I didn't want to do that. And so you're swimming on the surface, and there's a lot of, energy on that surface, a lot of competition, a lot of, worried about form. But then later in the day, I got to do what I really wanted to do, which was water ballet. I was a synchronized swimming girl. I liked to be under the water and hold my breath and then pop up and do something beautiful, right? And it's like, and so when we court desire, the surface level is going to give us our conditioning. It's going to give us what our neighbors are doing or what we think is popular or what the recent advertising is. Imagine that you're bombarded with what you're supposed to want. We are manipulated by media about what we are supposed to want and desire. I want you to be the synchronized swimmer of your desires and go deep and to keep asking throughout the day and even take 10, 15 minutes and sit. But what do I truly want? What do I desire? What would I love? And maybe keep a journal and do it for the next week. And what you're going to see is a pattern. And you're going to circle those things that keep popping up. And you will get to what your true heart's desire is. And then the following week, we'll do the next key, which is intention. We're going to marry our desire with intention. Whew, look out, world. Look out, world.